This morning we're going to look at one of the chants from the Jivamukti book. It's page 5, it's number 15, and it's talking about wholeness. It's Purnamida, Purnamidam, Purnat Purnamadashyate, Purnasaya Purnam Adaya, Purnam Aviva Shishyate. That is whole. This is whole. From the whole becomes manifest. From the whole, when the whole is negated, what remains again is the whole. And we'll do call and response. Om Purnamada Purnamidam. Together. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadashyate Purnat Purnamadashyate Purnasaya Purnamadaya Purnasaya Purnamadaya Purnamavivashishyate Purnamavivashishyate Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadashyate. Together. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadashyate Purnasaya Purnamadaya Purnamavivashishyate Purnasaya Purnamadaya Purnamavivashishyate. We'll do it one time all together. Om Purnamadaya Purnamidi. I'm sorry, we'll start over. Om Purnamadaya Purnamidam Purnamadaya Purnamidam. How am I messing it up? My mind is scrambled. Let's try Om one time to clear it. Om. And we'll just call that complete. So this is a really beautiful mantra. It's reminding us that we are already whole, that we are complete, that nothing can be taken from us. And it helps us establish connection so that whatever's going on in the outside world, we can still maintain equanimity of mind. This month, Sharon wrote a beautiful essay, and she gives us direction towards the Bhagavad Gita. And she directs us to the second chapter in the Bhagavad Gita, which tells us about the practice of yoga. And this is where Arjuna, who's in the Bhagavad Gita, the main character, he is having crisis in the middle of the battlefield. I'm sorry. Yeah. And he does not want to do his job. He falls down in the middle of this battlefield and he tells Krishna, who's his charioteer, I can't do this. I can't do my job and I don't know how to act. And then Krishna then gives him this beautiful instruction about yoga. And he says that he doesn't need to worry about the results of his action, but he needs to really focus on the action. Make the action perfect. This is where we get the definition of yoga. Perfection in action comes from this chapter. And what we're learning is that as long as we are good, as long as we act in the highest way, the results aren't really our concern. Right? You be a good neighbor because it feels good to be kind and compassionate to those around you. You don't do it because you expect them to be kind in return. That's none of our business, is what Krishna is telling us. He's saying put more focus on emphasis on how you act in the world. Be harder on yourself, and then give everyone else a lot of room to make mistakes, to be wrong, to have difference of opinions. But you focus on yourself. And through this, you will be unaffected, right? And again, equanimity of mind is brought up many times in this chapter. This month, Sharon wrote a beautiful essay called Compassion During Crisis. And she again repeats this beautiful thing that she likes to say, that the way you treat others is the way that others will treat you. The way others treat you determines the way you see yourself. The way you see yourself determines who you are. And she's really just putting an emphasis on how we are acting in the world, because that's how we're going to see ourselves. It's a beautiful essay. I encourage everyone to read it. Towards the end of it, she says, as a person exercises compassion as a practice, they get better at it, and the result is that they grow into humility, a direction away from selfish ego concerns. To be humble is to be close to the earth, unpretentious, to bend like a blade of grass, to serve rather than to expect to be served. It is possible to let go of the demands of the ego, but it takes practice. The yogic nature is one of being a servant to others and to God, rather than self-serving. As a servant, you do your best while not being concerned with controlling the outcome of your actions. You do your best and let God do the rest, meaning that you act without selfish motives, trying to manipulate the outcome. This involves vairagya, the yogic virtue of non-attachment. The Bhagavad Gita speaks of yoga as the perfection of action. If we want to act perfectly in a time of crisis, we cannot allow negative emotions like anger, sadness, or blame to motivate our actions. Because if we do our actions, we'll be imperfect, and result in future suffering. At this time of crisis, all of those who are acting selflessly, responding to the suffering of others with compassion and humility, are coming closer to yoga, to the remembrance of who we really are, the reconnection to the Atman, the eternal divine presence within. Through service, we understand that we cannot help anyone, we can only serve. As we become a channel for service, the understanding of the yogic teachings that mysteriously speak of God as the doer begins to dawn. Through compassionate service, the presence of God is revealed. When this encounter occurs, it is felt as joy, and with it comes the realization of grace, and only the response is one of gratitude. Grateful to the crisis for providing the opportunity to serve. I love that Sharon, she doesn't mince her words. She just tells it like it is. So, I don't know, I just keep having, I think it's mental exhaustion of just the times we find ourselves in. Sometimes it comes at night, sometimes it comes in the morning. But if I remember who my true employer is, right, the highest self, God, or whatever you want to call it, then I have work to do every day. You know, Sharon speaks of being of service. How am I able to sit down, take an inventory of what I need to do today and see where I can be of most service? It could just be trying to be a friendly voice in the world or a friendly face with those I come in contact with. I know that sometimes I do fall into the lesser emotions of anger and sadness. It's okay to have those, but also remember what we're working for here, right? We're working for equanimity of mind. So that's what we're going to work on today. Let's come into a downward facing dog to begin this morning. Kitten is sleeping, that's good. So come into your downward facing dog, hands on the floor, underneath the shoulders. Going to tuck the toes under, begin to straighten the legs. And just take a moment here, right? We're using our physical body as a vehicle to experience the self, to move towards that equanimity of mind. So we have to understand, how is this body working this morning? We have to support it to be exactly where it is. So just take a few more breaths here. Make connection through the hands and the feet. And you're going to walk your feet towards the front of the mat. You're going to set up for a standing forward bend. You can bring the feet together. You can separate the feet. Yogi's choice, take hold of the floor of the hands, take hold of either elbow. So the biggest gift we can give anyone today is to show up for our yoga practices, because that's what's going to help us remember the wholeness. It's going to help us move towards that equanimity of mind, and we can then carry that through the day with us, right? So we don't fall into the small self. A few more breaths here, breathing in and breathing out. And then you're just going to take a soft bend in your knees, release whatever you're holding on to. Gently roll up to a standing position, allow your head to come up last. Step or jump your feet together, hands to prayer in front of your heart. Bring your gaze to your fingertips or close the eyes. And now with this idea of being of service, think of someone that you would like to uplift today through your practice. It could be someone you love. It could be somebody that you're struggling with. It could even be the highest, the God itself. Love and blessings, say the name. Begin your ujjayi breathing, audible breath. Sounds like the ocean in the back of the throat. Inhale a breath here. Exhale, release the arms down, and we'll start with Sun Salutation A. Inhale, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, folding forward, place your hands flat on the floor. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga, keep the elbows close to the body. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Hold and breathe here. Now as we establish our breathing in the practice, we then move on to our gaze, right? So audible breath as you can on the inhale and exhale. And then once you've made adjustments in any given pose, work with your drishti, your gaze. Look for one point that you can focus the mind. This way we move away from distraction, from small self things. Continue to breathe here. Inhale a breath here. Exhale, bend the knees, look forward. Step or jump between your hands, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come all the way up, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, release your hands to prayer in front of your heart, gaze at the fingertips or close the eyes. So this is the warm-up we do in the beginning. It's meant to quiet the mind and begin to open the heart. On your exhale, release your arms down. Again, inhale, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, folding forward, place your hands flat on the floor. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Hold and breathe here. Again, spread the fingers wide, press palms down, heels reaching towards the back of the mat as you lift the sit bones high. Complete the pose with your gaze between the feet or towards the navel. Inhale a breath here. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or jump between your hands, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, come all the way up, lift the prayer overhead. Exhale, releasing your hands to prayer in front of your heart, gaze at your fingertips or close your eyes. So as Hatha Yogis, we see this physical body as a vehicle to that spiritual experience, to that place of equanimity of mind. Don't be confused by getting better biceps. On your exhale, release your arms down, moving on, Sun Salutation B. Inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, Utkatasana. Exhale, diving forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Consciously place the left heel down, step the right foot forward lightly. Lift the prayer overhead, first warrior pose. On the exhale, open the arms wide, second warrior pose. And inhale, place your hands down, step back, slowly lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Consciously turn the right heel down, step the left foot forward lightly. Lift the prayer overhead, warrior one. On the exhale, open the arms wide, warrior two. Inhale, place your hands down, step back, slowly lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Hold and breathe here. Hear the audible sound in your breath. Continue with your one-pointed focus. Inhale a breath here. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward. Step or jump between your hands, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, Utkatasana. Exhale, straighten your legs. And again, just pause in action. Find your gaze to your fingertips or close the eyes. But sometimes establishing that wholeness, that connection, is just in being quiet, doing nothing. Right? Moving into that place of that inner witness, that inner seer, that inner self. And then you can sit in the midst of that battlefield of what's going on in the world right now, but still have equanimity of mind. How can I bring compassion to crisis? On your exhale, release your arms down. Inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, Utkatasana. Exhale, diving forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lightly step the right foot forward, turn the left heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, warrior one. On the exhale, open the arms wide, warrior two. Inhale, place your hands down, step back, slowly lower, Chaturanga, almost through the warm-up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, right heel down. Lift the prayer overhead, Virabhadrasana 1. On the exhale, open the arms wide, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, place your hands down, step back, slowly lower, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. You want to shake the head out, flubber the lips. Getting ready for Virabhadrasana 1 again. On your next inhale, step your right foot forward. Turn your left heel down. We're going to lift the prayer overhead, warrior one. Like you used the thumbs this morning for your gaze. So lower the prayer to the appropriate gaze place. And then try to cultivate some steadiness. Try to create a meditative mood with your gaze. Inhale. Exhale 4. Inhale. Exhale 5. From here, you're going to inhale, straighten your right leg. We're going to pivot the feet and we're going to turn towards the opposite end of the mat. And then you're going to exhale, bend your left knee, first warrior pose. If you want to lower the hands, reestablish the prayer, and then establish your gaze towards your thumbs, lift the prayer to the appropriate gaze place. Hold and breathe here. Try to relax the forehead. Relax the toes. Inhale. Exhale, 4. Inhale. Exhale, 5. From here we're going to move into the second warrior pose. Inhale a breath. Exhale, open the arms wide. Second warrior pose. Try to have a nice long stance between the feet as you reach in both directions. Try to relax the shoulders. Make any adjustments you need to make. And make it beyond any struggling, any shaking. Keep your gaze steady beyond the middle finger. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath. Breathing in. And breathing out. We're going to take warrior 2 on the right side. So straighten the left leg. You're going to pivot the feet towards the opposite end of the mat. Exhale, rebend the right knee. Second warrior pose. Make some adjustments. Complete it with your gaze. Continue to breathe here. Inhale a breath here. Exhale, place your hands down. Step back. Downward facing dog. Option to stay here or go through the vinyasa one time on your own. Link breath and movement. And then come to downward facing dog, or even take a child's pose if you'd like. Think of it as a neutral pose, place to regain wholeness, place to regain remembrance of who we really are, not confused by outer circumstances. If you're in child's pose, come back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to bend the knees, look forward. You're going to inhale, step, walk, or jump between your hands. Come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, bend your knees deeply, lift the prayer up, Utkatasana. Exhale, straighten your legs. Hands to prayer. Pause in action. Again, remember, who am I doing this for today? Who is this practice dedicated to today? Keep circling back to that thought. This will move you towards that higher self. All right, in your next inhale, you're going to step or jump wide to your right. You're going to turn your right toes towards the back of the mat. Left toes in. Inhale the arms to shoulder height. Exhale, reach forward and down for triangle pose. Keep the legs strong and active. Keep the navel strong. Lightly place the right hand down as you lift the left arm up. Make some adjustments here and then look for steadiness. Look for your gaze to the hand above or something not moving. Your next inhale, you're going to come all the way up. You can bring your hands to your hips to change position of the feet. Left toes forward, right toes in. Inhale the arms to shoulder height. Again, keep the legs strong and active. Lightly place the left hand down as you bend the left hip. Reach up through the right side. Make any other adjustments you need to make. Complete the pose with your gaze to the hand above or something not moving. Your next inhale, you're going to come up. And you're going to step or jump to the front of the mat, hands to prayer. And just pause in action. And from here, when you're ready, we're going to move into Nataraj Dancing Shiva pose. We're going to start with bent knees. You're going to look for something for your gaze to hold your concentration, something eye level and not moving. Bend your right knee and grab hold of the right ankle with the right hand. You're going to bring the left arm up. Inhale, bring the right knee as high as you can. When you get to that highest point, begin to pull the ankle away and begin your dance. Try to reach out in all directions. Your next inhale, come upright, release the knee to the floor, give everything a little shake out. Remember, Shiva is the symbol of the one that destroys the ignorance, the one that removes our thoughts of separateness, the one that is there to help us bring in light, right? To bring in wisdom. So let's try the other side. Find your gaze place, bend both knees. This time you're going to take hold of the left ankle with the left hand. Bring the right arm up. Inhale, bring the left knee as high as you can. And exhale, begin to pull the ankle away, reach out in all directions. When your next inhale, come upright, bring your knees together, release the foot down, give everything a little shake out. And then step or jump to the front of the mat, hands to prayer. Close the eyes. Your next inhale, you're going to bend your knees deeply and lift the prayer up, awkward pose. Exhale, diving forward, place your hands down. Inhale, come to a flat back, look up. Exhale, step or jump back, slowly lower, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. Inhale, actually keep the left heel turned up. Step the right foot forward between your hands into lunge. Lift the arms alongside the ears. And take a moment here, find high lunge. Bend the front knee, push the back heel away. Lift the chest and the gaze. As you reach up through the fingertips, relax the shoulders down. And then we're going to take a twist here. Inhale a breath. Exhale, twist to the right side. Hook elbow to knee, hands to prayer. Option to stay here. Or you can bring your left hand to the outside of the right foot to the floor. Extend the top arm up and over the ear. Or come into your bind. Look for your gaze place. Continue with your Ujjayi breath. One more breath. Place your hands down, step back. Downward facing dog. We'll switch sides. Keep the right heel turned up. Step the left foot forward into lunge. Lift the arms alongside the ears. Again, establish connection, establish wholeness. Bend the front knee, push the back heel away. Lift the chest, relax the shoulders. Keep your gaze steady. Getting ready for the twist. Inhale a breath. Exhale, twist to the left this time. You're going to bring right elbow to the outside of the knee. You can bring hands to prayer. If you want to bring the back knee to the floor, that's a good option. If you're taking the arm variation, right hand to the outside, the left foot to the floor. Extend the top arm up and over the ear. Come into your full bind. Hold and breathe here. Look for your gaze place. And then placing your hands down, step back. Option to stay here, go through the vinyasa one time on your own, or come directly into child's pose. After you go through your vinyasa, come to child's pose. You have every right to your action, but not the results of your action. This is what Krishna tells us. Meaning, be a good person. Be a kind and compassionate person because it's in your best interest. It's in your best self-interest, right? It's going to move you closer towards the truth. All right, from here, we're going to move forward into a squatting position. So you're going to separate your feet about mat distance apart. You're going to squat down, bring your elbows between the knees. If you want to roll up a blanket, place it underneath your heels or even sit on a block. That could be a good variation. And just take a few breaths here. Try to relax shoulders, lift the chest, continue with your ujjayi breathing. If you find it difficult, offer up the difficulty. Love and blessings to the person I thought of. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. If it's easy and find it very pleasing, offer that up. Offer the pleasure up. All towards equanimity of mind. Not affected by hot or cold, we're told in this chapter. Not affected by the opposites. Instead, we are able to sideline ourselves and just watch and be a witness. Compassion during crisis. Right, from here, we're going to move into crow pose. I'm going to place the hands on the floor, about shoulder distance apart. Spread your fingers wide. We'll have an option for everyone here. So you could just stay here. If you want to go a little bit further, you're going to bring your knees high into the backs of the arms. You could begin to tip the weight equally into the hands and just stay on the toes. If you want to lift one or both feet off the floor, that's an option. Hold and breathe. From here, you're going to release your feet back down. We come back into our squatting position. Right, reestablish your props if you used any. Then we're going to take a twist from here. Bring your left arm out to the left side of the left shin. Bring the right arm up. Take a twist, look over the right shoulder. If you want to bind, you know what to do. Inhale, come center. We'll try the other side. Right arm out to the right side of the right shin. Extend the left arm up. Take a twist, look over the left shoulder. Come into your bind if you have that practice. Inhale, come center, hands to prayer. We're going to try crow a second time. Bring your hands on the floor about shoulder distance apart. Stay here. Bring the knees high into the backs of the arms. Begin to tip the weight equally into the hands. Stay on the toes. Or lift one or both feet off the floor. If you want to push up into a handstand from here, that's an option. And on your next exhale, you're going to step, walk, or jump back. Go slowly lower. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Shake the head out, flubber the lips. On your next inhale, you're going to lift your left leg high. Keep the weight equally in your hands and back heel. If you want to open the hip, bend the left knee, drop the left foot towards the right side. Then you're going to straighten the left leg, square the hips. Inhale, roll forward to plank position. Bring your left knee towards your nose. And then come and bring your left shin as close to parallel to the front of the mat as you can manage. If the left hip's really high, you could place a block, a towel, a blanket underneath that hip. Give you a little more established seat. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, walks the hands forward. And then breathe here. Right, we're not running away from difficulty. We're not trying to go around it or over it. We're trying to go directly through it, but with equanimity of mind. Yeah, times are tough right now. But if we establish our seat in yoga, the practice of yoga, in yogic wisdom, we can begin to experience freedom from suffering. And it's not just a theory in a yoga book, it's actually a practice that we can achieve the results that we are looking for. So just surrender, commit, go to the place where it might be a little difficult, and just breathe, bring awareness there. On your next inhale, lift up. From here, we're going to set up for seated spinal twist. Swing your right foot around forward. You can bring your right foot to the outside of the left knee. If the right sit bone is really high, straighten the left leg. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, twist to the right side. Make a connection, elbow to knee. If you have a full bind, find your full bind. And then take a twist, look over the back shoulder. Hold and breathe here. Inhale, come center, counter twist a little bit to the other side. Oh, that feels good. And then we're going to swing the right leg around behind us. And bring the hands forward on the mat. Tuck the right toes under, lift the left leg high. And then release the left foot down and we'll try the other side. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Maintain equal weight in your hands and back heel. Bend the knee here, open the hip. And then you're going to square the hips, straighten the leg. On inhale, roll forward to plank position. Bring your right knee towards your nose. And then bring your right shin as close to parallel to the front of the mat as you can manage. Again, if you need a little help on the right side, prop the hip so you have connection here in your seat. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, walk the hands forward. Again, getting right into that second chakra, place of emotions. Element is water, should be moving, flowing, not stagnant. Right? We can show up for this moment. We can show up for another day of this pandemic. No problem, because we are armed with yogic knowledge. We know that we have the ability to acquire equanimity of mind in all situations, even one that is difficult as this is right now. So just breathe, allow the emotion to flow. Right, there's room for sadness, there's room for tears, there's room for frustration. All these lower qualities, it's all there. We can let it pass through. We don't have to hold on to it, grip it, make it last longer. Instead, we just let it pass right through us. On your next inhale, lift up. You're going to swing your left leg around forward for seated spinal twist. Place the left foot to the outside, the right knee to the floor. Again, if the left hip is really high, just straighten the bottom leg. That should correct the seat. And then you're going to inhale the right arm up. Exhale, twist to the left side, hook elbow to knee, or come into your full bind. Look over the back shoulder, one pointed focus. Inhale and exhale, breathing on your own. Inhale, come center. Gonna counter twist a little bit to the other side, and then swing the left leg around behind you. Tuck the left toes under. Step the right leg back. Release the right foot to the floor, and then come into child's pose. All right, neutral pose, place to bring the mind to, place of emptying out and letting go. Just breathe the body. Right, today we're going to work on some donkey kicks. So you're going to come into your downward facing dog. The idea is to try to kick your heels towards your seat. Right? You're moving towards a handstand. So you could just kick an inch off the floor. You want to try to kick the heels to the seat. You could do that. If I asked a kid to do this, they'd be happy to try this, even if they didn't do it perfectly. Right? So try to have that kind of idea. Right? Come up. Down. And after about 5 of those, come into child's pose. And again, not concerned with the result, just the action itself. Just let it go, offer it up. And then we're going to try this second way. Come to your downward facing dog. Now we're going to kick one heel. So you're going to step one foot in. You're going to think of the straight leg as kind of like a counter lever. And the bent knee is a spring. And you're just going to try to come up, kick the heel to the seat. Switch sides. And then rest in child's pose. Let it go. Next, we're going to move on to peacock feather preparation. And take hold of either elbow, measure your hands, wrists, and forearms parallel. You're going to tuck the toes under and straighten the legs. Some of us might want to stay here. You want to lift the right leg up. You can practice here. You want to bend the knee and practice hopping some weight equally into the arms. Or if you want to come all the way up, come all the way up. 5 breaths. Come down. Again, let go of whatever you found, good or bad. Just offer up the action. Don't be worried about the result. Right? Being a good person is in our best interest. And finally here, we're going to work on a tripod headstand. If you want to work on your regular headstand or half headstand, be my guest. For tripod headstand, hands on the floor, shoulder distance apart. Bring the top of the head far enough forward that you create a 90-degree angle in the arms. You're going to tuck the toes under, straighten the legs. Now, kind of a natural reaction is the elbows to fall apart, you lose stability. Try to bring inner elbows towards one another. And then bring one or both knees onto the backs of the arms. Straighten one or both legs towards the ceiling, 10 breaths.
That's 10. If you want to try to come down through crow pose, that's an option, or just come down, rest in child's pose. And let go, whatever you found. Get away from labeling it or boxing it. Just let it be. Love and blessings, I remember the highest. I offer my actions in service, so maybe I get a glimpse of humility. And then when you're ready from here, come up. I do a lot of talking while I'm teaching and practicing at the same time, so I take a drink of my tea. But it's suggested when you're doing the practice and you don't have to talk the whole time, you don't drink any liquids during physical asana practice. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to lift energy up to conscious places, and every time we take a drink of something, it just removes that upward energy and moves it downward through digestion. So if you can, hold out to the end of class. You can have as much water as you want then. All right, let's come to downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here, shake the head out, flubber the lips. On your next inhale, you're going to roll forward to plank position. You can exhale, lower your knees, your chest and your chin to the floor. Inhale, push through to a low cobra. And then through bent knees, push your seat to your heels. Come back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to plank position. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Inhale, push through to a low cobra. And we're going to hold here. Try to press the tops of the feet down so much kneecaps lift off the floor. Move awareness into the navel. And then option to stay here, lift your hands off the floor an inch. Hold and breathe. Inhale a little bit higher for 5. Exhale, release down. Turn your face to one side. And just take a moment here, relax, and let go. I heard commentary on the Bhagavad Gita once, and they said if you could sum up the whole message of the Bhagavad Gita, it would be simply to let go. I always love that. Just let go. Whatever it is, just let it go. And then what comes in its place is the wholeness that you are. All right, forehead down. Shalabhasana next. This is with straight legs. On an inhale, lift your head, chest, straight legs off the floor. Come up. Inhale a little bit higher for 5. Exhale, release your forehead down. From here, you're going to bring your fingertips in line with the lower ribs, getting ready for upward facing dog. On inhale, lift everything off the floor, come up. Exhale, push back. Downward facing dog. From here, you're going to bend your knees, look forward. You're going to step, walk, or jump your knees right behind your hands. We're going to come into rabbit pose, tucking the toes under. So usually in our Jivamukti back bending sequence, we come to bow pose next, right? Where we bend our knees, take hold of the ankles, and we lift up. Here, we're just turning it on its side. Same pose, just a different gravity point. Same applies. Navel is reaching forward so you can then move into that back bend. Take your hands to the lower back. Begin to push the lower back away, moving into your back bend. Navel moves forward. Begin to arch back. You could stay here or reach for the heels. And then make that beautiful shape of the rabbit, right? Navel's reaching towards the front wall. Remember, stability and strength comes from the base of the pose, the knees, the thighs, the navel. Head come up last. Inhale, come up. Head's coming up last. Tuck the chin in. Gently release down. And just pause in action here. Take a moment in reflection, in meditation. See what the practice is bringing you. See the pause it's allowing you to have in action. And then consider, right now, we're in the middle of this pandemic. But do you feel stable? Do you feel steady? Do you feel capable of being service to those around you? Offering your best self, your highest self, your most wise self. All right, let's come back onto the knees. Again, if you want, keep the toes tucked under for rabbit. A little deeper, Ustrasana, camel pose. Bring the tops of the feet together. Again, all the actions moving forward to allow you to get into this back bend. So put the hands in the lower back. Begin to push the lower back away as you move the navel forward. Initiating your back bending sequence here. Then drop the head back, stay here, or reach for the heels once again. And then move the navel forward. Find that beautiful shape of the camel. Hold and breathe. Inhale will bring you up. Head comes up last. See the strength in the front of the body. Tuck the chin in, sit down. And then from here, you can just come and lie on your back. Don't usually take a twist in between back bends, but this is a good place to do one just because those can be a little bit deeper than other back bends. So let's draw the knees into the chest. You're going to exhale the knees over to the left side as you bring your gaze over to the right side. And not forcing anything here, just breathing and letting go. And then bringing the knees center. Exhale the knees over to the right side as you bring your gaze over the left shoulder to the left side. Again, just twisting spine top to bottom, not forcing anything. Just breathing, allowing gravity to help you, assist you to let go. Coming center again. Draw your knees in. You can give them a squeeze here. And then we're going to release the feet down. We're going to set up for some further wheel poses. We're going to start with a half wheel. You can bend the knees. Draw the heels close and towards the seat. Feet are hip distance apart and parallel. On the inhale, you're going to lift your lower, middle, upper back off the floor. Interlace your hands here. Draw the arms long. Try to get high upon the shoulder blades here. If you want to slide a block underneath you, that's a good option as well. Take more restorative. And then breathe. And release the hands, release the seat down. Pause for a breath here. Okay, 3 more wheels. You can replace half wheel or supported half wheel with any of them. Come into that on your own. First full wheel, hands alongside the ears, underneath the shoulders. You're going to push into your hands and feet. You can come to the top of the head to begin, or come all the way up. 5 breaths here. And then release down. Take a breath here. Breathing in. And breathing out. Second wheel. Half wheel on your own, wheel hands alongside the ears, underneath the shoulders. Push into your hands and feet, come to the top of the head or come all the way up. 5 breaths here. And coming down. Let's bring our hands to prayer in front of our hearts, this place of compassion. You know, a lot of what Sharon says in her teachings is that the practice of yoga is a practice of remembering the highest, remembering God. So whoever you dedicated your practice to, think of it as part of the journey towards that self. Offer up this final action to better know and understand that love and blessings that you're offering up to the person you love, the person you have a difficult time, or even the highest. Half wheel on your own, full wheel, hands alongside the ears, underneath the shoulders. When you're ready, come up, 5 to 8 of your own breaths. Once you've completed, come down, draw your knees into your chest and just make small circular movements in one direction. And then go in the opposite direction. And then we'll rock up to a seated position. Inhale to rock forward. Exhale to rock back. Eventually coming up to sit. And we're going to take another twist here. Keep the left leg straight. Place the right foot to the outside of the left knee. Inhale the left arm up. Exhale, hug the knee in for the twist or create your bind. Go over the back shoulder. Breathe here. Come center. Straighten the right leg, bend the left knee, bring the left foot to the outside of the right knee. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, hug the knee in or come into your bind. And look over that back shoulder. Hold and breathe here. Inhale, come center, counter twist a little bit to the other side. You're going to straighten both legs. You're going to set up for forward bending. So come onto the front of your sit bones. Pull the flesh from underneath you away. Better establish your connection. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, walk your hands forward. And then whatever you can get a hold of here, take hold of that. Inhale, look up again. Exhale, relax the navel, fold forward. Your next inhale, come up. Draw both knees into your chest. Release the knees out to the side for bound cobbler's pose. Bring the heels in close. Thumbs to the insides of your feet. Open your feet up as if they are a book. Lift the chest. Exhale, folding forward. Your next inhale, come up. From here, we're just going to take the feet, move them about 6 to 8 inches forward, creating a diamond shape in the legs for Tara Asana. Take hold of the feet, bring them together. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the back this time. Bring the forehead towards the feet. On your next inhale, come up. From here, we're going to set up for a shoulder stand. If you just want to lie down, keep the knees bent, feet together, take reclining goddess pose, that's a good variation. If you want to bring your legs up a wall, that's an option, or over a sofa, could do that. Otherwise, you're going to come through halasana. Going to bring your feet overhead. You're going to place your hands firmly on the back, and then you're going to lift the legs up. So an advanced pose, when we're new to the practice, this is a really difficult one. But as we establish connection, we continue to show up for the practice and understand how these different poses work and what kind of strength and stability we need to do them. They grow over time. So the only way to get better at doing a shoulder stand is by doing a shoulder stand, right? So keep establishing flat hands on the back. If it's difficult to keep the legs lifted, wrap one leg around the other. Squeeze the legs together as a way to keep lifting up. Choose your gaze place and breathe. Let's inhale a breath here together. On the exhale, you're going to lower your feet overhead towards halasana. If your feet don't reach the floor, just keep your hands on your back, knees towards your forehead. If your feet do reach the floor, interlace your hands. Draw your arms long in one direction as you push the heels in the opposite direction. Then release your hands, keep the head on the floor, arm pressing down, gently roll all the way onto your back. And then we're going to set up for fish pose next. Matsyasana. So come, legs together, legs are straight, arms close alongside the body. You're going to push into your forearms and elbows, and you're going to lift the back of the head off the floor. As you do this, lift the chest up, stretch the throat open, bring the top of the head back to the floor. Option to stay here, bring your hands to prayer, and then lift the feet, extend the prayer towards the toes. And then release down, lift the head up, tuck the chin in, and set up for your final pose, Shavasana. So feet are at least hip distance apart. Try to place your body in a way that's not bumping into anything, right? So you have complete freedom to relax, to let go, to get bigger. Palms turned up. Gesture of surrender. If you're using any props, find your props. And then allow whatever you found today to settle into your heart and into your mind so that you can remember the wholeness that you are. So that you can remember compassion in crisis. How you can elevate to your highest self, not worrying so much about others' actions, but putting more emphasis on your own. How can you be perfection in action? Right? Be hard on yourself. You mature and grow up a little bit more. Allow other people to be on their own spiritual growth process. Don't worry about what they're doing. Right? We set the example we would like to see in the world. Sharon says that Shavasana is the most important pose that we would do in our practice, because after spending all the time of redirecting energy, opening up energies, channels, letting go of things, it's important to then at the end allow everything to settle back into its place, back to that wholeness. So I've saved the last 5 minutes for meditation. If you want to remain lying down for meditation, that's a perfectly fine meditative seat. Just continue to do what you're doing. If you'd like to sit up in meditation, try to come up and sit with as little disturbance as possible. Take your time. Once you find your seat, establish how you'd like to be there. Use a prop, cross the legs the way you would like. Place your hands in your lap or on your knees. And then just close the eyes. Move into receptive mode. When we sit in the seat of the witness, we're just watching the mind and body. We're not controlling it. We're not participating. We're just observing. In order to do this, you have to let go of control of your breath. Instead, just be a witness to the breathing in the body. Watch the natural inhale and exhale. If you don't have a mantra, start with this beginner mantra. It's let go. You say to yourself silently on the inhale, let, and on the exhale, go. When you notice your mind is moving towards thoughts or sounds, you just gently bring it back, inhaling let, and exhaling go. If you're still lying down, you're going to begin to slowly awaken the body. Begin to lengthen your next inhale and exhale. Extend the arms long overhead. Take a long stretch from the fingertips to the toes. Draw your knees into your chest. Gently roll to one side, pausing here for a moment. And then when you're ready, come and sit in an upright position. And we'll finish by chanting some mantra. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions in my own life contribute in some way to that happiness and to that freedom for all. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om.
Bring our hands to prayer in front of our hearts. We give thanks to all of our teachers, especially the inner guiding teacher, the Sadguru. Bowing forward, Om Bolo, Sadguru, Bhagavan Ki, Jai. Hari Om Tat Sat. Inhaling to come up. Nice to see all of you. Hope you have a great day. Homework, 20 minutes meditation. If you want to take a longer Shavasana now, please do that. Find some suitable music and relax and let go further. It's asked that if you're signing up to do it about half an hour before class and then turn on your Zoom connection 15 minutes before class so our wonderful moderator can set everything up perfectly. Okay? All right, everybody, have a great day. Namaste.